Welcome to another episode of my Motortown playthrough. Today we start out at the Sanho oil refinery after coming here last time with a container to deliver. And boy did we deliver that container, not just the stuff inside it, but we also just dropped off the entire thing including the trailer. No way I'm bothering getting that stuff back to Jeju Island. So yeah, today the order of the day is going to be to load up the tanker and then just bring it back to somewhere on the other island. And yeah, this is the trailer as I have it here right now. I just noticed how off some of the flames are, but I think I'm going to be deleting those as well. So yeah, this is my custom trailer. I just try to apply a bit of a design to make it look a bit more interesting, while hopefully not completely overloading it. And the main parts about this is that it has an upgraded suspension. Also better brakes, so that the entire thing doesn't just shove into my semi-truck all the time once I try to brake. And it just handles a lot better than the default one. The wheel spacers are fully extended, 100 millimeters per wheel. And I think this should be the default. I think what they did is they balanced the entire thing so it's usable enough once it's upgraded, but by default, this trailer is quite a pain to deal with. Just because it's so top heavy and it tends to just tip over all the time. Okay, so let me try out something. I think the way that's gonna work out best here is if I just drive the semi below the trailer, then toggle the landing gear in, so it's now resting on the semi, and now I attach it. It's a bit wonky, but sometimes if you have a lowered semi and attach it to the trailer without retracting the landing gear, it does a weird thing and just it kind of lifts up your semi or tips up the back of the trailer, something like that, making the landing gear act as a bit of a teeter-totter. So it's it's a bit weird. This way might work out better. So let's now go over to the loading area. Drive like a drunk for a bit because of how slow the front wheels are to turn in. And then we are just gonna see which location I'll go to over here. There are quite a few possible destinations, but I'm not entirely sure which one I want to go for. Again, the most profitable one would likely be 1100 rest area, but getting that stuff up there is maybe a bit too boring. Oops. Great parking job on my end. 10 out of 10, will try again. Okay, this is working out a bit better. Okay, let's see if I order it by the pay. Yeah, 1100 rest area is just so much better than everything else. Sangdo farm. Oh, that just disappeared anyway, so good job. But yeah, those areas are not worth that much. It's just that there are a lot of steep serpentines on this way, no matter which direction you approach it from. So that definitely makes it work for the money. But I think it's a better idea to just go for it. You may also notice that, it's only giving me a few units all the time, but once I start taking stuff out, it immediately replenishes, and now I'm having the fully loaded tanker. Also, fun fact about this entire area, there's a separate area for unloading the crude oil, which is more towards the west. And also, of course, the area we bought the container to last time. But this entire thing is still acting as one. So even though those have been completely different buildings in the refinery, it still uses those resources to process and create the fuel over here. So I guess with me going for the rest area after all, it's gonna be just a very long video. And we are 5 minutes in and have just started making our way towards the exit of the refinery, so good job me. Good job. But yeah, this is how these things go sometimes. Okay, so let's try and turn around, get to the exit, and then start making our trip back. I'm curious how the new road is going to handle once it's fully established. Was definitely fun exploring it on the last episode. But yeah, now I at least know for certain that there's currently no reason to go there. And even if it would connect back to the to another point of the map here, without any fuel station in between, I wouldn't be able to do that in one trip anyways. I can still have lights active, but with this light level right now, it's not really doing too much anymore. Although, honestly, I'm glad that this is not a complete night trip. It's kind of fun having night here sometimes, but I also don't want to make it the entire trip going back there. But this thing should pay out quite well. It was over 4k per unit, 40 units loaded, so that's 160k or something. I think I may actually use that money and just get myself an exploration vehicle. Something along those lines. So really off-road ready and all of that. I have another few industrial vehicles in mind that I want to get, including another semi. And also, of course, the Brutus Wrecker, but I think, yeah, just to be able to do something in between here, just having a look around the island, I need a different type of vehicle for that, so that might take priority. And I can do this kind of trip all the time if I want to, and yeah, it's gonna give me that money every time, so nothing too bad about that. Oh, I think the hitchhiker over here despawned. I have no idea what happened to him, but good for him, I hope. I definitely wasn't down to transporting him and even getting the truck stopped. Although if this was real life, it would be a really shitty thing to do, just leaving them in the middle of a desert. But hey, it's a game. It's alright. I drive through NPCs all the time here, nothing happens, they all survive, it's fine. Also, one thing that I wanted to mention regarding the tanker design. Initially I had it in dark red and I also kinda liked the color, but I've adjusted it to be in dark blue now so that it fits the semi a bit better. It really looked like a mismatch before. But the thing is, while it can look quite nice, I don't necessarily want to just design the entire trailer to fit the semi. It's kind of cool if they are together, but if I want to have multiple semis, I would, yeah, I don't know what I would do there. I don't want to style them all the same. I don't want to buy another tanker for each semi that I'm using, so I don't know, I think the solution would be to come up with a good general design, maybe keeping it more like grayscale or something for the most part, so that it still fits onto any truck that I'm using it with. I mean, if I really went in deep with this and also added the tribal design to the tanker, I think this combination would look absolutely amazing. But it would look also absolutely garbage if I'm using it with any other semi and don't style that the same. So I don't know. And yeah, I've seen a few designs flying around on Discord, and they usually go for the route of just designing things to match. Oh god. Yeah, the other trailer would have been tipping over already. The widened wheel stance definitely helps out quite a lot here. Also, fun fact, all of the grey design on the side of the trailer, there's really all just one thing there, and that's the one that I also have printed onto the back, which you can barely see right now. It's just a large circle with a few other lines in there, and that just worked perfectly as a bit of optical support structure. So these grey lines, they are not on there by default, that's something that I put on. And it's working out quite nicely. So I think I may just have to refine the design a bit more in that direction. And that should be alright. I think for the next semi that I'm going to buy, it's going to be one of those flat nose one, but with triple axle. So dual back axle at the fifth wheel. I think that's going to be red and black. That's always a color combination it looks very good in. Oh god. That was more than iffy. And that's what I mean with they designed the entire road here in a specific way to keep things interesting. This is not just a regular road, this is a challenge run. And it's perfectly camouflaged. It's raining again. Honestly, when it comes to the rain in this game, I would love to have a few more ways to adjust it. I think right now I made it so that it doesn't rain all that often. But what I would really like to have is a way to adjust how often it rains and also how long that rain is going to last for. I don't mind having a longer amount of rain every time it does rain, but maybe it shouldn't start raining all that often. So you get a longer dry period, you get a longer rainy period, and maybe there are a few very short rain showers in between. And there are a few vehicles coming up from the back, but this will be fine. I can try and let them pass if they come too close, and they might as well do so on the uphill over here. And you can just see how the needle from the RPM meter is going down there and how the speed is going down. It's struggling. Also, we are getting a bit low on fuel, but we should be just fine getting back to the gas station. 3 buses and a cop car, it seems. I mean, there is a... Oh, shit. Well, I guess that's another way to just let them pass. Great. I mean, it had to happen at some point. There's another car, but I'm not waiting for that. I'm just calling roadside service now. And I'm on the wrong side of the road because that was closer for them. So that's another thing. You're not only wasting time, you're damaging your vehicle and wasting a lot of money. You also just have to turn the entire thing around again. Sorry, having something in my throat and trying to clear it out. And yeah, some of those buses apparently just take the long way around, just yeah, taking the roundabout for no apparent reason. And yeah, I think I talked about this before, but for some of the stuff like the bus station right in front of a refinery, I would really like a few more options to make a quick bus to get down here. I can theoretically buy myself a Townie, which is the VW bus lookalike, and put the V12 engine in it. It works, it's a bit unstable, but it's also just quick as all hell, but yeah, the instability is a bit of a problem. So ideally I would like to have the SUV as an option for that as well. Just getting a bus license for that. Massive engine, maybe just one of the stronger V8s and not the V12, but that's something where I can really let it rip across the road over here. But yeah, that was brought up a while ago and people voted against it, so I guess I'm out of luck. This is something I don't always get because at the end of things it's really just an option. It's not like anybody has to use it if they don't want to, but due to the people who don't want it, we are now apparently just not getting it for anybody who would like to have a play around with that thing. And yeah, massive fuel bill. I could maybe also lower the fuel cost by just delivering to the gas station over here. That would also be an option. And I think that's also why you are supposed to make the fuel deliveries to begin with. Not just for the six-figure profit you can make by doing the delivery. But we'll have to see how that ends up paying. I should maybe just at some point when I come down here next do a delivery to this gas station just to make things a bit cheaper. See how that affects the payout and all of that. One thing they recently changed is that back when the update came out and you would bring the crude oil from the oil field down to the refinery, it would be converted in a 1-to-1 ratio. So for every piece of crude oil you would get one fuel, and meaning that every time you come down there with a fully loaded tanker, you could go up north again and deliver a full tanker. And now it's made so that you are getting at least twice the amount. So for coming down here with one loaded crude oil tanker, you can take 2 fuel tankers up north. But I guess at that point you need a respawn location down there, because otherwise how are you going to do that? Because I don't think it would be a good idea coming down here with an empty vehicle. But yeah, you can have additional teleportation points. Or is that just called them respawn points for some reason? You cannot die, so there's no reason to respawn. This is basically permadeath, but you are immortal, so you're all good. Yeah, there are 2 ways to teleport here. First one is to get a property. That will always come with a teleportation point right towards that. And that's all pretty cool. but it's also limited on the different areas that you can buy, and I don't know if I'm ever gonna get into that. As it is right now, there isn't too much to do with different properties. But yeah, the other option would be to buy yourself a camper van for 150k or something. So once you bring that to a location, you just park it there, and as long as it's active, it's gonna be usable. So if you just put it back into the storage at the parking lot, of course you cannot use it to teleport anymore. But as long as it's just parked somewhere around the map, that's where you can always teleport back to. Also can use it to skip the night, same as you can do with the trailer or with the semi over here, I mean. Not all of them have a bed in there, but I think the back part of the cabin is actually just a huge bed area. Oh god, oh god. I noticed this too late. I think this has been another issue where the wheel just wouldn't go the other direction soon enough. Because we were doing fine for most of the corner, I tried straightening out already, but it didn't really go quick enough. I think there is a setting that allows you to increase the steering input so it goes a bit quicker. But I think ultimately I would rather have something like that in-game to adjust for every single car individually. So another tuning upgrade option. Because while it would be very much necessary for some of the larger vehicles like the semis and the bigger buses, for regular cars I don't see the need in it. It might just end up messing with some stuff that was perfectly fine beforehand. I think I'll have to look back on the Discord if anybody ever made that suggestion. I think it was mentioned at some point, and people just brought up the general setting, but again, it would be better if we could do that on a vehicle basis and not for everything overall. And the company buses are once again in peril. So let me just put on the autopilot, and that little motion it does trying to get back to where it exactly wants to be on the road, that can also be a bit of a pitfall. I'm not entirely sure how it's gonna deal with some of the corners here, so I'd rather take over again. If I'm gonna flip the truck, I would rather flip it myself, thank you very much. Also, fun fact, you can theoretically use some of the elevated parts as banking. Not just what I did in the other episode, just going on the side of the hill, but also just going to the inside of the turn. If there is a bit of a decline down there, you might as well use it. It's just gonna help you out. Would be interesting to see a bit more banking on some of the roads here. I know at least in Germany we do that quite often for the faster roads in rural areas. Just so that it makes turning a bit easier, and if there is a larger truck, it's easier for them to also go around the bend without just having so many sidewards G-forces. So instead it just presses you a bit close, a bit more into the road. Also, this one is a bit iffy, so gotta be careful here. But yeah, with all the steering delay, it's very easy to get things wrong and not have the time anymore to do any readjustments. There's again a few vehicles behind me, but I'm not gonna let that stop me or anything. Again, I'm keeping an eye on the traffic behind me to let them pass if I'm capable of doing so. But right now that's not really too much of an issue. They can come a bit closer before that happens. But yeah, considering that we are only going at about half of the speed that's allowed on this road, it's already plenty iffy. Another thing that I brought up on the Discord is that it would also be nice to still have like a 20-ton tanker version. So one that's closer to what we had before the update. I mean, those were a lot simpler, but in the end, especially for something like this, it would be nice sometimes just having a quicker delivery option. The reason why I wouldn't be using the 40 tanker or 40-ton tanker and only filling it up halfway is, first up, there is delivery scaling, and that's always done to the maximum capacity of a vehicle. So if I had a 20-ton tanker, it would be able to deliver the same amount of stuff for more money than if I take the 40-ton tanker and fill it up halfway. Right now, of course, if both of those tankers were to exist, the 40-ton would always end up paying out more, but not twice as much as the other one. So let's see if we can just let the guys past. Maybe doing this without going halfway into the dirt. I think the bus is... I don't know if he's trying or if he's just too scared. It's a bit tough keeping the door open for them without going fully on the dirt while also going through a corner. But yeah, while we are not dying on the hill, we are definitely not doing this the most graceful way. I think this is going to be one of the higher points around here. Oh wait, no, we are not in Gappa yet. I think the section between the south entrance and the north entrance to Gappa is about the highest point of the journey, and afterwards it's gonna go down again. But I think this will end up being a two-parter. I don't want to make this an hour-long video, but just looking at where we are at right now, I think it's gonna be still a significant amount left to the trip. But we are slowly approaching the mountains again. Still more in the deserty area right now, but that's soon about to end. And I'm once again doing the mistake of just making way too many videos right after each other. So you know what, maybe it's better to just keep this in one. Not just cut you off at half a delivery. It's not like I'm giving you much of a cliffhanger here anyways. It's just gonna be a longer trip. And yeah, there's the southern Gappa entrance. I'm going to avoid that one. I don't think there's much of a reason to go down there. I think the bypass road is always gonna be a bit more direct than the other trip. But this is another huge incline that we now have to go through. And don't expect the last leg of the journey to be much different. It's gonna be very sharp turns and very steep incline. But that's what we signed up for with this delivery. But again, I don't really think that this is really boring or anything. I don't know if it's gonna be that interesting to watch, but at least in terms of playing this, it's fun. It's a more relaxing type of journey than just chasing around. corners with high speed or anything, but I like it. Oops, going off the road again. And I think we are about to reach the peak here, and afterwards we might just be on a downward spiral. Hopefully only in a literal sense and not figuratively as well. That would be kinda unfortunate. I don't even know if you could make this trip up here with a weaker engine. I mean, 440 horsepower on the other semi worked out well, but if I was to take that one just as a default, without any upgrades, I think this would be very much just painful. And I just overheated the radiator, so good job me. And now it's time to be very careful and not just get taken away by how much quicker we can go, because that can lead to disaster real quick. Also, this is a part that I absolutely love. As I said, you can use some of the stuff as oh god. Oh shit. I didn't want to go on the left side. I liked going to the right. Let's try to not hit that one head on, and god, I'm slowly losing control and it's not gone well. I liked using the other road. I just got a bit afraid of that, or not the road, the inside cliff there. I got a bit too afraid and pulled out too early. I've done this very successfully all the time, but of course the first time I'm really failing that maneuver is when I'm recording, because what else could happen? How else could this go? But yeah, that's a very fun turn, and I remember doing that on the multiplayer server. I had another guy in front of me, and I was then all of a sudden really gaining on him. Few buses. I don't really want to let them pass, but I think it's too late to pull over. Now I can close the door on the next guy. But yeah, having like one or two just unfortunate events where I need to use roadside recovery, that's alright by me. And yeah, I'm taking my position back, thank you very much. Doing a bit of a shortcut here to keep the speed up. I mean, that intersection where going uphill afterwards, that's just brutal. And yeah, there is a bit more uphill after all, but yeah, we should be through the most of it. Oh god. I wasn't even turning in that much. I don't know why it just snapped and tried to turn me in any further. But it did, and therefore that's what I ended up having to deal with. So let me see if I can turn this entire thing around without maneuvering myself over the edge of the cliff here. That when appearing on the opposite side didn't really help out too much either. But yeah, I guess it's time to let the others pass and just try to slot back in. For a moment I thought it was a police car. So yeah, since it's not the police, I can just be a bit more daring. I would have really liked just taking the momentum up the hill and not having to accelerate on that. But I think in the end it wouldn't have made that much of a difference. But this must now be the highest point. And I'm using the jake brake straight away, because otherwise we will have a few more tip overs that I would like to avoid if possible. So this road is only a 90 top limit, but it's alright. Unless we are doing something really stupid, we shouldn't be reaching that at all. And yeah, this truck definitely feels a lot more stable with added brake power to the trailer. Otherwise it would just be shoving into the back of me, trying to pull me all different ways, and that's not too much fun. I think that may have also caused the two rollovers for me. Just maybe the trailer adding a bit more angular momentum to the semi, and then just everything going sideways, both figuratively and literally. Okay. We at least made it back to the north end of Gepha, or no, not even Gepha, OG Island right now. So let's have a bit of a quick refuel and then just continue the journey. And yeah, this is really fun, just seeing how many truckers are pulling into this gas station all the time on the multiplayer server. So it's really just you by yourself, but either somebody who has been right in front of or behind you all the time, or somebody coming in from the other side and also just getting ready to go down to the refinery. So it's kind of fun. There is a sense of camaraderie with this game, which is cool, but again, I don't know if I can really show this off in a video. I'm distracted enough already just trying to talk and keep coming up with different things to say, but when adding the entire thing with multiplayer, I think it might go wrong, and the worst thing that can happen is that you just ram somebody and completely ruin their vehicle. I mean, it happens all the time. I mean, not really all the time, but at least some of the time, all the time. And that's usually okay, but I think that's a bit more of an issue when you have a massive island to the south which doesn't have a single repair spot. So gotta be careful about that. Oh god. Speaking of being careful, me, not. So still 11 kilometers to go, but I'm committed now to make this one single episode, for better or worse. Most likely worse, let's be honest. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Yeah, let's just try to get there in one piece. I'm back on the highway here, going across the ocean, so I think we are through quite a lot of the issues. The rest should be a bit easier, since yeah, there's gonna be a massive climb going up into the mountains on the other island, but apart from that, it shouldn't be too risky as far as tipping over is concerned. So I'm relieved. You may think that the fun part is over now, and you would be kinda correct. I don't know. But yeah. I'm just happy that I'm now done with a more risky area. Also, my tires are on their way to go out. I think they should be slightly above 20% at this point, and it's really only getting risky, at least in my opinion, once you get to like 50. So up until 20 is apparently regular use, but going over that, I don't know. It might be a slight bit more drifty, but I don't think it's too bad. So I'll be using them until they get more like dark orange or red. It's not like those guys couldn't just overtake if they wanted to, they just seem to be content driving behind me, constantly switching lanes. That's something that I noticed a while ago, and it's also kind of annoying if you're trying to just overtake somebody, because they are just constantly going from one lane to the other without any purpose. And I mean, okay, it's NPC driving, it's programmed and all of that, they are never gonna be that intelligent. But I think this is kinda a bit bizarre. And yeah, going to pass Anson again now. Also fun that they put in a trumpet interchange. I'm not entirely sure how much I like the connecting roads here, and also yeah, there are a few problems with the shadows there, but who cares. Yeah, the problem with the connecting roads for me is that they are all single lane and very narrow. I had multiple times where I just completely wrecked my vehicle on them, so gotta be careful with those. Another gas station, but we should be fine until we reach yeah, our destination here, I think. Less than 7 kilometers to go, and we are making steady progress here. Oh god. So yeah, smooth turns are not really the vehicle strong suit, I gotta say. Maybe go to the inside lane for the other turn, otherwise I might be scraping my trailer on the crash barrier over there. I could of course also just activate the autopilot and let that take over, but I don't really want to do that. It would just look better in terms of how smoothly the entire vehicle is driving, but yeah. I'll make my own mistakes, thank you very much. Okay, and finally back on Jeju. Took me long enough. I don't think I need the leg brake anymore. This is very much known terrain at this point. I don't know if we should get another stronger engine at some point. I mean, the inclines on the other road are very steep at some points. And while that introduces the whole dynamic of trying to take enough momentum with you, so you are a bit better on the next uphill, it at some points also just is a bit taxing on how slow you are going. There's really no way around it right now. So having a bit more power would definitely change the dynamics around a bit. But I don't know. Would have to see how it goes in the future. With that kind of stuff, I'm definitely trusting the devs to put in something nice for us. And also staying somewhat realistic, not just making everything 1000 horsepower or something. But yeah, I might make another delivery soon enough using either another final gear ratio to see how it works out, or just completely going over to 12, or what was it, 13 gear transmissions, just to see how that goes. But I think I had that in there already and it didn't make much of a difference. It really just got annoying when it came to shifting up over time. I think a shorter final drive ratio, even if it cuts down on my top speed, it would definitely help me with some of the other stuff a bit. Okay, I did not expect that, but yeah. At least it put me back on the right side of the road, going the direction I want to go. And now it's gonna be 3 kilometers of serpentine, so this was a point where I would have considered another location to go to, but in the end, yeah, this is almost worth twice as much, so I don't know. Also, it's not like I don't really like this too much or anything. I think this is still quite relaxing and all of that. But I think for a video, maybe going the other route would have also been a viable option. But then again, if I'm doing a trip like this, I kind of want to show you guys the maximum payout possible. And not just settle for second place. So, I don't know. If I was not recording this, I would definitely do this trip right here. Although I've also done a few of the other ones in the past, but yeah. It's not really that much of a difference. But in the end, for a video, just wanna get the maximum pay. I don't even know if I can maybe just call this entire thing now the best payout that you can get in the game. I think for a single delivery, unless you're just stacking a lot of military boxes, at which point it's really hard to have a set maximum, I think this might be the best single payout that you can get. And speaking of military boxes, I still have a lot of them around all over the place. I think there might be collection run coming in soon where I just get all of those and just bring them back to the military base. So I had a few truckloads of those boxes that I just put to wherever they needed to go, and they are just filled up with like 3.5k or something and just sitting there. So if I need a lot of money real quick, that's definitely a way to deal with that. But even this one, it still feels like a very major payout for the time that you invest here. I think what my fear is with videos not being that interesting here, while I still find this kind of enjoyable and engaging. I mean, what you will see is a semi-truck loaded with having a tanker to pull very slowly up a very steep road and all of that. What I'm doing is constantly just fighting the incline, seeing which gear I want to go with, and just shifting up and down, trying to go smooth to not lose too much speed in the corner. Also trying to not tip over the vehicle again, just like what I did at the bottom of the climb here. So for me there's a lot of things to do here, even if we are going like 30 kilometers per hour. But yeah, just trying to stay smooth here and not just tip it over again. While also still keeping the speed up to go up to the next area. I don't know. I hope you're not watching this for thrilling gameplay, because that's not gonna be what I'll deliver here. But if you want something a bit more relaxing and just hearing me ramble semi-incoherently about some weird topic, then I think you found your place. 900 meters left, and it's not gonna get easier, but it shouldn't get too much harder as well. Why the hell are you standing there? Are you going into Cynthia's cabin area? No, not even. He just didn't trust me. I mean, I wouldn't either, but I know myself and I don't know if he does, so yeah. Oh, this is a sharp one. I wonder if I could use that insight as a banking, but I don't want to try it. Oh yeah, and then there's also time attacks around the place. I haven't ever really gotten into them. They always go for like 2 hours or something, and it's basically against other players, so there's an online leaderboard that takes from the different sessions and determines who is the quickest. But it's also a huge investment if you don't have all the vehicles already, just getting all of them and then re-outfitting them with different engines and all of that. It's a bit of a job. And honestly, what keeps me from just trying to get into that, apart from me having more fun just starting new characters and building them up instead of really getting into the late game and buying everything the game has to offer, the garages get really annoying to deal with once you are having a certain amount of vehicles. For the last one, I basically lost interest in looking through the entire thing once I had 40. So, yeah, I don't know. I made a suggestion a while ago about that, just being able to sort them how we want to instead of having to rely on the filters the game provides, but not too much came from that. But I think I'll have to just try to bring it up again at some point. Because to me at least, that's a thing the game definitely needs as a quality of life improvement. To deal with the amount of cars that you can potentially have, and now also all the new trailers. But especially on this playthrough, it's gonna be a while before we get to that, and now it's time to look at the payout. That's $174,000 and 17.44 thousand XP. I get a level up every 1000 XP, and which is also why I'm now level 219 instead of level 202. Worth it. Definitely worth it. Not just for the experience, but also for the money in the end. And hey, what could you wish for more? I'm still curious if they're not gonna come out and nerf this significantly. But then again, I just put over 50 minutes into this entire thing, and therefore, yeah, it should be rewarding, and it definitely is. But yeah, that's it for this video. It was fun. I really enjoyed the ride, even though I tipped over the truck a bit more often than I would have loved to, especially when recording this, but I knew what I was getting into. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this one. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you made it all the way through. I absolutely wouldn't expect anybody to do that, but yeah. This is it for me. Have a good time, and till next time. Bye bye.